Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Brad with Vagrant RC. Super excited about a build we're going to do now. We're starting off with a brand new in the box Axial Yeti, long time discontinued. I've been accumulating parts to build this truck for quite a while. It's going to get all the goodies. It's getting an Exotech chassis, all the Vanquish products, stuff they used to offer for this thing before they've discontinued all that with the, when this truck was discontinued. So this should be a fun build. It's kind of been a lot to gather all the parts and cool stuff for it. I'll be getting some guidance from some buddies of mine who have built some really great Yetis in the past and have a lot of knowledge on these. This is my first Yeti to build. I'm super excited about it. Should be a lot of fun. Stick with us. Let's enjoy this build. Okay, I've been doing some hyperlapse stuff. Trying to kind of get through some of this. It's a little tedious putting this bulkhead together. It's my first time to ever do one of these for a Yeti. Got that done with a little input from a buddy of mine on some advice on how to do some things. But there you have it. It's all assembled. Bulkhead is ready to go. Okay, so we're starting to work on putting together a portion of the front steering and suspension. It's going to get the Vanquish products, caster blocks and steering knuckles, Vanquish products, VVD axle shafts. They're significantly more beefy than the factory shaft that comes with. You can actually see the factory shafts here in the bag. Quite a bit more stout. I don't know if that'll focus or not, but significantly more beefy, a little more durable. And then of course it's getting Metal Concepts lower control arms. These are hard to come by nowadays. They did do another run. Metal Concepts is now 949 Designs. I don't know if there was a merger or a sale or whatever of the design, but 949 Designs has it now. They've discontinued it due to several of us in the RC community begging them. I think they finally they did another run of them. And I picked up some. They changed the design a little bit. You can see this, the finish on the new one is a little more shiny than the old design. And it's got some more shock adjustment holes on it. Really great machining work. There's slightly different design, but I think either one of these is gonna be fine. For now, I'm gonna go ahead and run the older design Metal Concepts. And then we'll see. I may swap out at some point just to try the different ones as I run the truck and kind of see how I like it. So let's carry on, keep getting this thing put together. Okay, so moving forward, the next step, we're going to start putting this stuff onto the chassis. We're going to use an Exotech chassis. It's an aftermarket chassis made by the company Exotech. They still build a lot of great products. However, this particular item went the way of the dodo along with the Yeti when it was discontinued. So these, again, are really hard to find, and they kind of pay a premium when you find them, but they are out there to be found. This one is in excellent condition. I got it from a buddy of mine named Nick Panette out of Canada. He's a great dude in the RC hobby, and I bought this one from him. So Really great. I'm excited about this. It's kind of one of the beautiful pieces of this build, in my opinion. The machine work on these things is fantastic. And of course, that's in comparison to the stock plastic Yeti chassis that it comes with. You know, there's going to be some pros and cons. The weight, I haven't actually put them on a scale, but the aluminum's a little heavier than the plastic. And but then the plastic may slide a little better across rocks. It depends on what you're going to be using it for. But you get a lot more rigidity out of this chassis than you do the plastic, from everything I understand from people that have run these Yetis a lot. So there's some pros and cons to it. But me being me, I like to build with all the pretties. And this thing definitely fits that bill, man. It's a beautiful, beautiful piece. Excited to build on it. Let's get to it. Well, guys, as you know, I'm prone to doing sometimes. I was doing some building and then got focused on what I was doing and forgot to start my camera again. So we missed a little pieces. I'm not going to go back and take the truck apart just to record it. But so we got the front bulkhead assembled. Y'all have seen that. We got the control arms put on. Had to do a little putting some spacers and shimming to get any slack and slop out of it. So we got it all assembled. On the front end is completely built up. If you can see all that, where they get the Vanquish bell crank and steering rack. So it should be, it's about going to be about as tight as you can get a Yeti up front, I think. I'm not aware of any other upgrades you can do to get this front end any more solid than it is with reference to any slop or steering slack or anything. With the exception of maybe putting in some machined rod ends. But I mean, I kind of want it to give somewhere if it's going to take a hit. I'd rather break a rod end than something else. So anyway, there we are so far. Progress is getting made. I think I'm at a good stopping point for today. I got to get ready to go to work tonight. So that'll do it on this little segment, and we're going to move into, it looks like we're going to took a quick glance at the next steps in the instruction manual. It looks like we're going to move into starting to get drivetrain starting to get going here on transmission and things like that here pretty quick. So let's stick with it. I'm enjoying the build. It's been a lot of fun so far. Okay, guys, here we go. We have the transmission assembled and transfer case. You can see that it's not all stock parts. I actually had this hot racing transfer case, aluminum transfer case housing from a parts lot that I bought for some Yeti parts. It was in good shape, just needed a little cleaning up, not all nicked up or anything. So I cleaned that out, put some fresh bearings in it. Obviously put the new gears in it from the kit that I've got, so everything's all new, but a little more durability with that aluminum housing there. And then of course used, instead of the plastic stock housing, I used the Vanquish products motor plate and cam mount. And then of course on the gear, I swapped that out from the plastic ring gear up to a hot racing hardened steel gear to kind of shore this thing up a little bit. And then on my pinion gear, of course, I'm going to upgrade that from the stock centered gear that comes with it to this hot racing hardened steel gear. Keeping the same ratio for now. We'll try. My motor's going to be upgraded from. It's going to be a faster motor than the stock motor, or I'm sorry, than the RTR versions came with. This one obviously is a kit version, doesn't come with a motor, but I'll be running a 3500 kV motor most likely. I've got a couple different options, so I wanted to kind of beef up the ability here on the gearing as much as possible. So there we have it on that. You get to see a motor transmission, or I'm sorry, transmission transfer case built at hyperlapse in about 1 minute and 6 seconds. Kind of cool. All right, stick with it. We're going to move on to the next step. All right, guys, I've been picking at this thing a little bit. Y'all seen some hyperlapse video. We watched the transmission transfer case get put together, the motor get mounted in the motor plate. A little bit of resoldering to kind of tidy things up, and then I decided to go ahead and throw this stuff in this chassis and kind of see where it's going to rest. And of course, once again, forgot to start my video, but you can kind of see. It's going to start off with an NSDRC RS1, very strong servo. We're going to want that for going fast and slinging around big, heavy 2.2 tires. Going to get a Tiken RX4 ESC and a Tiken Pro HD 3500 kV censored motor. So that's kind of what we're going to start with. Hopefully this works out okay. The RS1 servo is something I had laying around from a different build that I dismantled. It's not been used very much, so I decided I would put it in here. Still in very good condition, and the motor and ESC are actually something I picked up on a package trade deal I did with a buddy of mine, and so we're going to see how that all works out. It's starting to look like a truck now. We're going to start getting things going a little further. It looks like next thing we're going to be moving on to really is cage and all that, try to get that squared away. Of course, we'll have to get a receiver put in here, and I'll shorten up and tidy up some wires so we don't have a bunch of mess laying around. And I've got to get an ESC wired in here and programmed up. So we will get that all going. And I'm sorry, I said ESC. I meant BEC. We'll get that all going, and we'll continue the build. Y'all stick with it. This has been fun. Okay, y'all. We've got tires put on this thing. I painted the body. I didn't video the body. So let's put this dude on for the first time and see how it looks. Hopefully it fits without a whole lot of additional work. The back end's clipped in here. Back end fits good, nice and snug. Everything lines up. Let's get the front end dropped on here. Oh, look at that. Drops right in, just like it's supposed to. Get some body clips on here. Looks like it might need a little suspension adjustment. Maybe go to a stiffer spring. I've got a set of springs here. All right. There she sits. Pardon the mess in the backdrop. We've been building a truck. This has been a blast of a build. Sadly, with all the effort I've put into trying to find all the hard to find parts, it's taken me almost a year to get everything for this truck. And then finally getting a chance to sit here and build it. It's taken a lot of time, money, and effort to get this truck done. And if you can see in the paint, my paint splotched for some reason. I don't know why. I painted it one solid color. It's champagne, gold champagne, I think is what it's called. And it splotched in places. I backed it with silver, of course, to get that gold to kind of be a little deeper. It just disappointing to me that the paint, failed like that. I don't know if it was something I've done or what. I mean, I prepped it like I always do Lexan bodies, washing it with warm soapy water and rinsing it real good and drying it. And I just don't know what caused it to do that. But, I'm going to drive this truck. I do have another body I can paint for one that wants to look pretty if I want to, but my plan is to drive this truck. So while I'm sick about it, I mean, how long is it going to really look good anyway? But so there it sits. Let's put a little battery in this thing and see what happens. Stand by. Okay, y'all, the build is complete. It's been a ton of fun to build this thing. It took a long time to accumulate all the parts. There's so many that are discontinued and hard to find. I've got parts from Australia, Germany, Canada, all over the U.S., just scattered all over from trying to buy parts to get this thing put together. So it's been quite a feat to get this thing done. It's been a ton of fun. Thank y'all for joining me on the build. Let's kind of pop the top off this thing and kind of go over what we've done here, what the final results ended up being. There were some changes along the way, so kind of adjusting things to what was going to work good. We already got the pins pulled out prior to starting the video here, so we can kind of get right to it. All right, so starting with the motor and drivetrain. It's got the Tiken Pro 4 HD, 3500 kV, paired with an RX4 transmitter. It's currently on an NSDRC RS1 steering servo, and we're running a Castle 2.0 BEC in there, the 14 amp BEC, along with a FlySky FGR4S V2 receiver paired with my Noble NB4 radio transmitter. As far as the chassis goes, it's sitting, of course, on the beautiful Exotech chassis. Those are discontinued and pretty hard to find. It's got all the Vanquish goodies on it, to include the bulkhead, shock tower. For now, I ended up going and taking off the shock adjuster bracket. It wasn't working out real well with these Proline shocks that are fantastic. Man, they're nice. But this particular model I got is a little too long for working with that shock adjuster, and it took away some mobility. So that'll probably be a change I'll make here coming up. I'll probably end up getting another set of shocks that's maybe 10 millimeters shorter, so I've got some more play and ability to adjust that front suspension. The lower control arms you'll see are the short run they did from 949 Designs. Of course, they ended up with the Metal Concepts ones, the design there, and they revamped that and did a couple of adjustments to it. It's got more shock adjusting holes in it. I had both sets, the old school Metal Concepts ones and these newer 949 Designs revamped versions of them. I ended up swapping out midway through the build and going with the 949 Designs just because of the ability for more shock adjustability with the different holes in it. It's got the Incision steering linkage and upper, I guess, control arms, I guess if you want to call them, and it's got the Vanquish VVD front drive shafts. So pretty nice there. Moving back toward the rear, of course, Vanquish trailing arms, and it's got an MIP drive shaft, brand new drive shaft, and a brand new Vanquish AR60 V2 axle in the rear, with of course a brand new VP diff cover. Those are kind of hard to find nowadays. Internals on this on the rear are Vanquish VXDs, so a little more beefy axle in the rear. The tires are discontinued Proline KR2s, 2.2 KR2s, sitting on Vanquish Method 2.2s, and just, man, a pretty nice setup here I've got going on. I'm very pleased with how this thing came out. And in fact, I've put a couple battery packs through it, racing my grandson around the backyard. Put him on my laser nut, and I was driving this. We had a great time. But I noticed pretty quick that I would like a gyro in this. I just ordered one. In fact, it showed up today. So I'm going to be installing that to kind of make this thing a little more driver friendly at higher speeds. So that's kind of that. There's your tour of the car. And I really hope y'all enjoyed the build. It has been truly a blessing to build this thing. It's been a lot of fun. Thank y'all for joining me on the ride. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like what you're seeing here at Vagrant RC, please like and subscribe. And thank y'all for sticking with me on the build. Y'all keep on tiny trucking.